Hola amigos y amigas, bienvenidos nuevamente a este espacio. Hemos recibido la visita de un nuevo luchador que accedió al llamado. En esta oportunidad tenemos la visita de Jack Morris, luchador escocés. Él actualmente compite en Pro Wrestling Noah en Japón. Welcome Jack, it's nice to have you here.
Hello, thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here. It's good to speak to you.
Mine too. Okay Jack, we wanted to do some questions to you. And to start, we wanted to go to the beginning of your career. So can you tell us when and why did you decide to become a professional wrestler? And what currently motivates you to compete at the highest level?
Okay, so I started watching wrestling from a young age, and that's where I fell in love with it. Maybe 5, 6 years old, I started watching. I have an older brother, so he was watching, I started watching, and I just fell in love. Being from Scotland, it's the norm. It's normal for kids to grow up and play football.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a path that I went down. I was very focused on football, relatively successful. I'm not sure what you'd class as relatively successful. Professional contract I got. I played for professional clubs, but unfortunately injuries kind of put a stop to my career. I kind of fell out of love with football. So when I turned 24 and stopped playing football, I decided the only thing that I was going to do was try the wrestling. And I kind of now or never. At 24, it's a little bit late, in my opinion. But I just wanted to jump in and put everything into wrestling and try and make a career out of that now that the football was finished. So,
Okay, yeah, I get that. Also, it helps you when you transition from one sport to another. If you have the discipline and your body is accustomed to the training regime and to actually do exercise like in a regular basis, so that also helps.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember reading something about you being a professional footballer in the past. So yeah, that's actually cool. And I don't personally think that 24 is that old of age for wrestling because, for example, you actually compete in Japan. Many wrestlers actually start after they are in their early 20s. No, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Going through the young boy system and whatnot. I agree. I think just because I spent so long chasing the football ambition to then stop at 24 and change to a completely different sport. Yeah, I just thought, right, if I'm going to start at 24, then I need to put everything into it and really try and make the most out of chasing that goal.
that's great. Now I want to enter to your wrestling style. You combine technical wrestling with some speedy or high-flying moves. So why did you decide to adopt this style of wrestling? And do you have one or more wrestlers that are your references to build that style?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was always drawn to the guys of similar style. The Chris Jerichos, the AJ Styles, the Kenny Omegas, Marufujis here in Japan. These guys that weren't the typical super heavyweights, but had that style that was technical. They could fly, they could throw people about. And I'm not the biggest, I'm not the stereotypical big heavyweight that wrestlers are typically pictured as. The average fan will picture as big super heavyweight, and that's just not how I'm built naturally. So yeah, these were always the guys I would look for and the guys that I found most exciting. So yeah, that's why I've kind of went down that route.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, that like traditionally they had this idea of like the wrestler has to be like big, strong, but then the aesthetics and also the styles of wrestling are different in each country. So that allow like in the late 80s and the beginnings of the 90s to get more focus on like the juniors, heavyweights or the cruiserweights. They showcase that you don't need to be like that big to
Yeah.
to be a good or even an amazing wrestler. Yeah, I agree with
Definitely
you.
long gone are the days of when you had to be this big jacked up guy. It is
Mhm.
very much a changed industry now to what it was like 20, 30 years ago. So Yeah, no, that's always the style that I've wanted to adapt, because these are the men that I'd watch and would excite me the most. So, yeah.
Great. Now also about the beginning of your career, you're a Scottish wrestler, and you have competed in the European scene before going to Japan. So, what can you tell us about your experience competing in Europe? And also, if you have any moment that you would like to highlight from that period of your career.
Yeah, so fortunately, when I started wrestling, I got a lot of opportunities quite quickly. And I think it was purely down to how I looked as well. I came from football. I was already in good shape. I'd started hitting the gym, so I was building muscle. So companies seen that as a good asset from the get-go. I was given opportunities that maybe guys who had been wrestling 2, 3, 4 years more than me hadn't got yet. So yeah, I was taking those opportunities. I feel like, as well as looking the part, I've got a good attitude, I've got a willingness to learn, and I think companies can see that too. So from very early on in my career, I was given opportunities that a lot of guys were still working towards. I think in my 7th match, I wrestled in Germany, and within a year, I was a regular on the bigger Scottish companies, the ICWs and the Discovery Wrestling shows, and I was already winning championships in wrestling imports. So yeah, I was kind of thrown in, and yeah, you got to learn, you got to sink or swim. So it was great for me.
That's great. And also, like, after that, you got your first invitation to compete in NOAH in 2022.
Yeah.
And now you're a regular in NOAH, and you have achieved so many things in such a short amount of time. You've been tag team champion, you've been national champion. So, what does NOAH mean to you? What moments would you highlight as your favorites so far?
Yeah, so far, yeah. Well, I owe a lot to NOAH. Getting the opportunity to come here came off the back of just an email. I've always been a fan of Japanese wrestling, and I thought, like, I want to wrestle there in my career. So I emailed NOAH. They got back to me. They offered me a 3-month tour, and that 3-month tour has led to I'm still here almost 2 years later, which is incredible. So I do owe a lot, because I was still trying to break into the bigger independent promotions in the UK scene and European scene. So they did take a big chance on me. But again, I just needed that opportunity, I feel, too. I think once I got the opportunity, I knew I was going to come over. I knew I was going to show people what I could do. I was going to learn. And yeah, I think it's been a great match, me and NOAH. And you've seen what I've been able to achieve as well. The national championship. 5th longest reigning JHC tag team champion with Anthony Green. And along with the titles, the championships, I've wrestled Keiji Muto. I wrestled on Muta's retirement show. I wrestled at the Tokyo Dome for Muto's retirement show. So these are all things that I could never imagine happening 2 years ago. But hey, hard work pays off, I think.
Great, mate. And also, it's motivation because, like you said, you've been there less than 2 years, and you've competed in the Tokyo Dome. You have wrestled some of the best wrestlers in the world. Not only in the present, but historically, you have win championships. That's really cool. So you still have more to do now. So we're looking forward to what we will.
There's more to come. Yes.
Yeah. Also in NOAH, the last year you've been part of one of the most popular factions in Japanese wrestling, which is Good Looking Guys. Why did you decide to join that faction? What do your colleagues mean to you?
So, Jake Lee came into the company New Year's Day 2023, and he came down the aisle, he stepped in the ring, he shook my hand, and from there was a partnership made. I think you would see from the early matches me and Jake had, because I think from the first month of 2023 we did a lot of tag matches, and there was already a chemistry there. And then very soon Anthony Green came along, he came back, and the three of us just got on really well. There was a chemistry, there was a bond. Yohei and Tadasuke joined, and GLG was off to the races. Soon LJ came, and I think the 6 of us shown what a good group and what we're more than a team. We didn't just meet at the shows. We went out socializing. We did things out with the wrestling, and I think it showed in the chemistry and the bond and how we work together in the ring.
Good to know. Yeah, I remember like you recorded some blogs when you were doing stuff outside the ring. That's also important to get to know your colleagues, in this case, your stablemates, to like deepen the bond, like you said. So that's great. Unfortunately, this didn't last long. Like it in Noah Destination 2024, the dissolution of GLG occurred as Jiggly had anticipated, and the members of the faction, face each other in a trios match. But the key part was what happened after the match. Like
You want to talk
Gato,
about that? I can talk about that.
yeah, Gato came into the ring, and he offered Jake Lee a membership in Bullet Club War Dogs, which has been another stable or faction that has been working with GLG these last months. You've wrestled like in the Noah shows. Some of you have wrestled at the NJPW shows. You have wrestled at All Together. So in the end, Jiggly accepts that proposition from Ghetto. He chokeslammed you, and like he said goodbye to Noah. So and now he's competing in the G1 Climax in New Japan, and it was a shocking moment. You've been all together. You've been dominating Noah for a year. Like you literally won every championship in Noah.
Yep.
So yeah, it's crazy. How do you feel? Like really, how do you feel after the end of GLG? And what do you think of the now known as the smart bastard? As a competitor and as a person.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was time for GLG to end, but Jake Lee decided to take it upon himself, with no discussion with the others, that GLG was going to disband. So, there you go. For 18 months, I stood beside Jake Lee, and I had to listen to those boring-ass promos where he would ramble on about he was going to lead Noah. He was going to take the helm. He was going to lead the arc. And it turns out that he was just a hypocrite. Just a hypocrite because, the first opportunity he gets, he jumps ship and off he goes. And he can call himself a smart bastard if he wants, but he won't be feeling so smart the next time me and him step in the ring together, because it will happen one day, sooner or later. And we saw what happened in Nippon Budokan, and I'm going to get mad. I'm going to get payback. I'm not going to forget about that. I'm a man that doesn't forget. So when we face off, when we meet each other again, Jake Lee's going to regret his decision to disband GLG and to leave Noah and join New Japan.
I'm really expecting to this because there's bad blood between you two. It's not the first time that Jake Lee has left a company in those terms. It's actually the second time. And I don't know if New Japan will be his final destination in the end. But yeah, like you said, I speak with Jake like 2 weeks before destination, and he told me that he understood that there was this bad feeling between the members of GLG because the decision was his own and he didn't consult anyone. So that's also bad because you might be the leader, but you're not alone in a faction.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Actions have consequences, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, guys over the world, look forward to the moment where Jack Morris and Jake Lee collide in the ring. That will be electrifying. Now, in more recent things, we are less. We are all over a week away from the N1 Victory 2024. You will be competing once again. This will be your third time, and you will try to win it in your third attempt. So you will be competing in the Block A with former champions as Kiyomiya and Shosaki. And this tournament is special like the Cyberfight group Marufuji have explained before, because they wanted to deepen their relationships with WWE. And now we have participants from NXT and Dragon Gate and so on. So it's a really special event where most of the participants are also young talent, which is a key part. Um, what are your expectations for this edition of the tournament, and what do you consider to be the key matches in the group stage?
Yeah, so you've obviously touched on this is my third tournament, and I think that this one is the most competitive group that I've been a part of. You touched on there the NXT guys coming over, so already there's going to be more eyes on the product. This new partnership between Cyberfight and WWE, so it's great to have the NXT guys over. Hopefully, it gets more eyes on it, like I just said, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be very competitive, and yeah, there's some key matches in there. Matches that I've pointed out for the last. This will be my third year, and Massa has been in each of my blocks. Year one, I beat him. Last year, he beat me. So we're going to decide best out of three this time around, and it's my first match too. So it's an important one in these tournaments to get off to a good start. So we'll see how the match with Massa goes. Another one I've looked at is Kiyomiya. So obviously he's a champion. It's going to be non-title, but if you get a result against the champion, if I can manage to beat him, which I plan on doing, I think it's got to lead to a title opportunity at some point, surely. So we'll see what happens there too.
Okay, yeah, that's great that you mentioned that, because Masaki Tamiya has been one of the MVP players for Noah this last year. Like with his rivalry with Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan, a lot of international fans have been paying attention to him, and he has had some of the best matches in Noah this year so far. And also, you mentioned Kiyomiya, which, like you said, is the champion of Noah. It's a GHC heavyweight champion, and anyone that gets a pin or a submission over him can get a title shot in the future. So that's something that happened last year when Keno beat Jake Lee. He didn't win the N1, but he then got a title shot after. So I believe those might be the two key matches. And also, you had your debut in the N1 2 years ago against Kiyomiya, and you beat him. So you have that experience in your back.
I've got history with Masa. I've got history with Kaito. I've also challenged Kaito before for a belt, and he got the better of me that time. But if it happens again, it'll be a different result this time around.
That's great. And also in your blog, there's another previous winner and former GHC heavyweight champion, who is Noah's icon, Dojo Saki. And you haven't faced him yet in the N1. So do you have any strategy prepared for him? And what's your impression of him as a competitor? He just won the 0-1 heavyweight championship. So he's like in a good moment in his career now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've got a lot of respect for Go Shiozaki. I watched Noah for a long time before I even stepped foot in a wrestling ring. A lot of respect for Go. He's a legend here, a legend in Japan. And to get to face him one-on-one for the first time, I've been here 2 years. I've never stepped in the ring with him one-on-one. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I respect him, but when the bell goes, I'm going for the win. So by any means necessary. It's my time to shine. Sorry, Go.
Please take that opportunity. Now it's harder to get one-on-one matches with most of the veterans in Noah. So this is one of those few opportunities. So you get the most of it. Also, right after the N1, you guys have a tour in the UK. Noah announced some dates internationally. They will be competing first in September in the UK. They have 3 dates: London, Manchester, and Edinburgh. So you will be returning to Scotland, your home country.
Yes.
And you will be competing in the main event.
I will be.
So, yeah, it's something cool. And also, Noah has a show in October in Germany. Um, and in the past, Noah has competed in many other countries, such as Peru, Chile, Brazil, Mexico. What expectations do you have for these confirmed tours? Especially, the date in Edinburgh, because it's your homecoming show.
Yeah.
And what's in store for fans attending? If you think that there's any other country or continent that should receive a visit from Noah, because like I said, they've been in Latin America before. Some of the Noah wrestlers have competed in the US and Canada before too, and this tour is only in Europe so far. So what can we expect?
No, I think it's great that the company's coming over. It's very exciting. UK tour, 6th, 7th, and 8th of September, Edinburgh, Manchester, and London. Get your tickets. But yeah, no, it's very exciting. It's great that Noah's leaving Japan. We're coming over to the UK. The shows are going to be great. The cards are out. It's also joint with Progress Wrestling, who have a great roster themselves. So yeah, each show is going to be special. Each show is going to be different from each other. And yeah, the fans that come, people that buy tickets, they're in for a treat, because Noah, in my opinion, is the level of wrestling is the highest you can get in the world. And it's going to be on the British fans' doorstep, so come along and watch. As for other companies, I think it would be great if Noah did more in Europe. You touched on there, Germany, but there's also France, big wrestling scene, Spain, Belgium are coming up. All these companies that have their own wrestling scene. It'd be nice if Noah could do some joint shows there, maybe. And yeah, no, it's exciting moving forward and seeing this development of a UK tour. So let's see what happens next.
That's great. Hopefully, we have the chance to see Noah in other countries. Like you said, like the European scene is really hot right now. France has been growing insanely this last year. Also, Spain. Belgium have this relationship with France, so that's good to work it out too. Also, Kiyomiya told me that he plans to, help Noah to grow even bigger, so that they can do these tours more often.
Yeah.
Because we know that international fans also deserve a chance to see the product live, because it's always hard when a company always stays just in their main country. So we're looking forward to that, and also that Edinburgh show, because you will be the main event in there.
Yeah. No, it's
Now,
very
now,
exciting.
yeah,
Very exciting times.
great. Now, I wanted to talk about you, but not inside the ring, outside the ring. So, can you tell us about your hobbies, like things you like before, beside wrestling?
Besides wrestling, so I like to keep fit. If it wasn't for wrestling, I'd still be in the gym, working out. I find it great. It's a great thing for everyone to do. Get exercise in, lift some weights, free the mind. Do a lot of walking, do a lot of listening to podcasts. I'm still a big fan of football, despite not playing it. So I go and watch the local team here, Urawa Reds. So yeah, I'm very lucky that this is my life. I get to wrestle here in Japan. I get to live here in Japan. Tokyo is on my doorstep, and sometimes I think I take that for granted because it is so accessible to me. But even after 2 years, I still find it such an amazing place. The culture, the people, the food. I'm very lucky to get to live this experience. So yeah.
Great. Do you also follow the Premier League or the Scottish League?
I do. I follow both. In the Premier League, I'm a big fan of Newcastle.
Mhm.
And in Scotland, I'm a fan. I'm from Dunfermline in Scotland, and Dunfermline Athletic play in black and white strips. So I'm a fan of Newcastle because they play in black and white strips. Every Scottish fan has an English team, so
Yeah.
Newcastle is mine. But yeah, follow them. Newcastle are actually playing here next week against Urawa Reds, so I'm going to that, which is pretty crazy. I managed to get tickets, so it's very exciting getting to see Newcastle in Japan. So yeah, it'll be very cool.
That's
What
great.
about
Man.
yourself? Do you follow anyone? Premiership?
In the Premier League, you mean? Liverpool, in my case.
Liverpool? Yeah. New
Yes.
manager.
Yes, exciting times. exciting
Yeah.
times. It's a new beginning for them. So we will
Yeah.
see who gets in the top round. It's always hard when you play with Manchester City in the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you also tell us, maybe describe how is a regular day in your life?
A regular day, or touched on there, I pretty much work out every day. I always do some sort of physical activity, whether it's
Uh,
lifting weights or some cardio. I have I'm going to sound very boring, but I have a step goal each day I need to achieve. But with doing that, I listen to podcasts. I think it's great. And yeah, good food, good friends around here. Computer games, competitive, a level FIFA. Again, go and watch the local football team. And yeah, just live a nice chilled life, to be honest.
that's great. How many steps do you walk each day? What's your
Uh,
goal?
At least 20,000.
Wow.
At least 20,000. That
Well,
is the goal.
you're looking phenomenal shape, so I'm not surprised about that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it helps when I don't have a car here. I can drive in Scotland, but I don't have a car here, so I have no choice but to walk. So
Mhm.
20,000 is my goal, but it keeps me sane too. So it's good. Stick a podcast on, learn
Mhm.
some new things. It's all good.
And also, now we're in summer in Japan, and you're from a country that doesn't have this kind of weather and where it rains a lot. So, how has been adapting to this kind of weather for you?
Yeah, it's can be rough sometimes. I think since I came, I was actually home in Scotland 2 weeks ago for 3 weeks, and it's summer there, but it only really got to 20 degrees. And I came back to Japan, and we're getting high 30s, and yes, it's a bit different for my Scottish skin, but yeah, a lot less rain than Scotland, so it's okay. I can deal with it.
Okay. Now I wanted to return to wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
Destination was a big event for Noah. They had big matches and exciting things for the future of Noah. We had this dream match between Nomichi Marufuji and AJ Styles, and this opened a world of possibilities between Noah talent and worldwide talent. So if you could bring any wrestler from any company in the world that you haven't faced yet to compete in the ring of Noah, who would you choose and why? And if you could bring, if you could tell us 2 or 3 examples, will be great.
Yeah. So AJ Styles would be one. Him
Mhm.
versus Marufuji. Two. Marufuji and AJ Styles are dream matches for me. Fortunately enough, last month I got to wrestle Marufuji at Cork and Hall in singles, which was incredible. AJ Styles, would love to wrestle him. Huge fan. Other wrestlers, going with a Cyberfight WWE deal, I'd love to wrestle Randy Orton. I think incredible. Maybe one of, well, not maybe, but he is 100% one of the best that has ever done it. Huge fan. Yeah, and maybe out with WWE, probably Kenny Omega. He's got history in Japan. So yeah, they're probably my top 3. AJ, Randy, and Kenny would be dream matches for me. So let's see if they happen one day.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed for that. They are 3 of the greatest to ever done it.
Really
Hopefully, also Kenny returns soon. He's still recovering from health issues. Those will be really 3 great matches. Actually, Styles said that he wants to come back to Japan. He's actually in Japan right now, but let's hope for good timing for that.
Yeah, we'll see. I heard that too, so we'll see what happens.
And also, in the opposite sense, if you get the chance to go to compete in NXT, would you take the chance?
Interesting. My heart's here in Noah, so we would see what the appearance would be like. One-off appearance, I'm sure. Why not? But I've got goals to achieve in Noah. I've got an N1 to win. I've got a GHC Heavyweight Championship to win, and yeah, that's what my goals are at the moment. here in Noah. So I'm focused on them, and we'll see what opportunities come along the way.
Okay. So you will say that those are your goals for the remaining of this year? Or is there anything else that you would like to mention?
My goals for the rest of the year, well, N1 is my priority right now. Winning the N1. So once I do that, I will be facing the GHC heavyweight champion, and I plan on winning when that opportunity comes up. So it could be the goals for the end of the year, because once I win this N1, then yeah, that title belt will be coming to me. Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll be looking forward to that. You know, this next, I just announced the New Year show, which will be like literally January 1st. So it will be a hot start for the new year. Maybe you will be entering the show as the GHC heavyweight champion. So that would be cool to see. Finally, I wanted to know if you have any message for your fans worldwide, especially Latin American and Spain fans who might have not have the chance to see you wrestling live yet, but see the product of Noah. And that's also why Noah now has their official channels and information website in Spanish too.
Yeah, no, it's great. I've seen that. It's great. The product's growing. As for the fans, I see everything on social media. I'd like to thank them for the support. It does mean a lot, and I think it helps motivate me with the support. So yeah, let's just keep doing what we're doing. The last 2 years have been pretty wild, so let's keep continuing and see what happens in the future.
Okay, Jack, thanks for your time. It was a pleasure to have you here. I send you my best wishes for the N1 and the remaining of the year. Hopefully we get to see you as a GHC heavyweight champion. Fingers crossed for that.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on. And yeah.
Ok, eso ha sido todo por hoy, amigos. Hasta la próxima.